Welcome to this IELTS Listening Practice Test, brought to you by Spinta, your partner in English exam success. This test simulates the real IELTS listening experience with authentic question types, timing, and difficulty levels you'll encounter on exam day. You'll hear the audio only once, just like in the actual test, so stay focused and keep your pencil ready. Remember to read the questions carefully during the preparation time, and transfer your answers accurately. This practice will help you build confidence, improve your listening skills, and familiarize yourself with the IELTS format.
Part 1. Now look at Part 1. You will hear a woman calling a hotel to ask about booking a room for an event. You will now have some time to look at the questions.
Good morning, the Grand Hotel. Ben speaking. How can I assist you?
Hello. I'm hoping to inquire about hiring one of your function rooms for a corporate event.
Certainly. I'm the events manager, so I can definitely help with that. Can I take your name first, please?
Yes, it's Olivia Marshall.
Marshall. Thank you, Olivia. And what sort of event are you planning?
It's a one-day conference for my company.
A conference? And do you have a rough idea of how many people will be attending?
It's hard to say for sure at this stage, but I would estimate there will be approximately 80 people.
80 attendees. Okay. And do you have a date in mind?
Yes, we'd like to book it for Friday, the 12th of October.
The 12th of October. Let me just check our diary. Yes, that date is currently free. And what kind of facilities would you need?
The most important things are a projector and, of course, a screen for the presentations.
A projector and screen. All our function rooms have those as standard. For that number of people, I would recommend our Elm Suite.
The Elm Suite. And what's the size of that?
It can seat up to a maximum of 100 people, so it would be very comfortable for your group.
100. That sounds perfect. And what about refreshments? We'll need coffee in the morning and afternoon.
Of course. We normally serve tea and coffee in the foyer just outside the suite during the breaks. It stops the main room from getting too crowded.
In the foyer. That's a good idea. Do you have internet access?
Yes, the room hire includes free, high-speed Wi-Fi for all your delegates.
Free Wi-Fi. Excellent. We would also need to provide lunch for everyone.
We can certainly arrange that. Our most popular option is a hot and cold buffet, which we serve in the hotel's main restaurant. That gives people a chance to stretch their legs.
A buffet in the restaurant. That sounds lovely. My final question is about parking. Is there anywhere for people to park?
Yes, we have our own secure underground car park. It's not free, I'm afraid, but we do offer a discounted daily rate for conference delegates.
A car park is great. Okay. I think that's everything I need to know for now. Thank you for your help.
Part 2. Now look at Part 2. You will hear a university staff member giving a welcome talk to new students during an induction day. You will now have some time to look at the questions.
Good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome to Eastgate University. My name is Eleanor, and I work in the Student Services Department. It's fantastic to see you all here for our induction day. The main purpose of today is to familiarize you with the campus facilities so you know where everything is when term starts next week. Please take a look at the campus map in your information packs. We are currently in the main lecture theater, which is where most of your first-year lectures will be held. We call this the main hall. As you leave the main hall, the large building directly opposite is the Student Union building. This is the hub of student social life, but it also houses the university bookshop on its ground floor. Now, if you look to the left of the Student Union, you'll see our main administration building. This building contains the main reception. And right next to that, you'll find the Careers Service, which is a fantastic resource for helping you think about life after university. Now, let's look at the other side of the campus. The large modern glass building is our award-winning library. We'll be going there for a tour later. The IT support desk is located on the ground floor of the library. Should you have any problems with your university account or connecting to the Wi-Fi. The building behind the library is the science block. As you'd expect, this is where you will find all the main laboratories. Now, a couple of very important points. You will all need to get your student ID card this week. You collect it from the main reception. This card is essential as it provides access to all university buildings, including the library and the sports center. It's also used for printing. We know that starting university can be a daunting experience, so we have a peer mentoring scheme. This pairs you up with a second or third year student from your department who can answer your questions and help you settle into university life. It's a great way to make a friend and get some informal advice. The Student Union is an independent organization run by students for students. Its primary role is not entertainment, but to offer advice and support on a whole range of issues, from housing to academic problems. They are your voice within the university. So that's a very quick overview. In a few moments, we're going to split into smaller groups for a tour of the library. After that, you'll have a break for lunch, and then this afternoon, you'll have your first meeting with your personal tutors. Are there any questions?
Part 3. Now look at Part 3. You will hear two marketing students, Isabella and James, discussing their presentation on greenwashing with their tutor, Dr. Carter. You will now have some time to look at the questions.
Okay, Isabella, James, your presentation proposal on greenwashing. It's a very interesting and important topic. What have you found so far?
Well, we've done a lot of initial reading. Our biggest challenge at the start was just trying to find a specific focus. Greenwashing is such a huge area, from misleading packaging to entire advertising campaigns.
Yes. Narrowing it down is the key. So let's look at your plan. Your introduction. You've explained what greenwashing is, but I'm not entirely sure what your central thesis is. The argument is not well supported by a clear statement. You need to be very explicit about what you are arguing.
A clearer thesis. Okay, then for the literature review, you've mentioned some key authors.
You have, but some of these books are from the early 2000s. Public and corporate attitudes have changed so much since then. the sources you've chosen are not up to date enough. More recent examples are needed here, definitely.
We'll find some more current research. Then for our analysis of adverts, we've described what the adverts show.
Yes, but the analysis is too superficial. You're just describing the images. You need to apply some actual analytical frameworks. What specific persuasive techniques are being used? How is the language constructed to mislead? You need more critical depth.
A more detailed analysis, okay. Then your case study section. You've just said you'll look at the fashion industry. The examples are not specific enough. Which part of the fashion industry? Which brands? It's too vague.
We'll narrow that down. And finally, your plan to survey consumers.
Yes, we wanted to ask people if they could spot greenwashing.
It's a good idea in principle, but how would you ensure your sample is representative? Your proposed methodology is flawed because just asking students on campus will give you a very biased result. You'd need a much more rigorous sampling strategy.
I see. So, James, what did you find most interesting in the reading?
For me, it was the cleverness of it all. I was really struck by the specific language techniques that are used. Vague terms like eco-friendly or natural that sound good but have no legal definition. It's a very subtle form of deception.
A very important point. And Isabella, why do you think companies do it?
Well, my reading suggests that a key driver is that it allows them to create a positive brand image, which then allows them to justify charging higher prices for their products. Consumers are often willing to pay more for something they believe is ethical.
Exactly. It creates perceived value. So how are you going to improve your analysis of the adverts?
I think we need to develop a clear set of criteria for our analysis before we start. We can create a checklist of things to look for, like vague language, irrelevant imagery, and hidden trade-offs. That will make our analysis much more systematic.
That's an excellent, scholarly approach. One final suggestion. Your project is very focused on the problem. To make it stronger, I suggest you add a discussion of potential solutions. What can be done to combat greenwashing? Think about regulation or consumer education.
A section on solutions. That's a great idea. It makes the project more constructive. So what's our first job now?
Well, based on this, our whole plan needs to change. I think our immediate next step has to be to rewrite our project proposal with a much clearer focus and a more robust methodology.
I agree completely. A strong proposal is your roadmap. Start there.
Part 4. Now look at Part 4. You will hear a lecture on the topic of geothermal energy. You will now have some time to look at the questions.
Good morning. In this final lecture in our series on alternative energy sources, we're going to be looking deep inside the Earth itself. Today's topic is geothermal energy. So, what is it? Put simply, geothermal energy is heat that is derived from the Earth's core. This heat is the result of the slow decay of radioactive particles in the center of our planet, a process that has been happening since the Earth was formed. This makes it a vast, and for all practical purposes, a renewable resource, as it is constantly being produced. Humans have used this heat for centuries, for bathing in hot springs, for example. But today, we're focused on using it to generate electricity. Geothermal power plants harness this energy by drilling deep wells into underground reservoirs of hot water or steam. This steam is then piped to the surface, where it is used to drive turbines and generate electricity. This method of power generation is most effective in areas with specific geological conditions. It works best in places where the Earth's heat is close to the surface, typically near the boundaries of tectonic plates, where there is a lot of volcanic and seismic activity. Countries like Iceland, New Zealand, and parts of the United States are prime locations. Geothermal energy has several significant advantages. One of the most important is its reliability. Unlike solar or wind power, it is not dependent on the weather or the time of day. Geothermal power plants can operate 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, providing a consistent and stable source of power. It also has a very small physical footprint on the landscape, especially when compared to large solar or wind farms. However, geothermal energy is not limited to large-scale power generation. On a smaller scale, ground source heat pumps can use the constant temperature of the Earth just a few meters below the surface for the direct heating and cooling of individual buildings. This is a very efficient way to manage the temperature of our homes. Despite these benefits, there are challenges. The biggest drawback is the high initial investment cost. Drilling deep wells into the Earth is an expensive and technologically complex process. There is also a geographical limitation, as not all locations are suitable. Furthermore, in some areas there is a risk of triggering minor seismic tremors as a result of the drilling and water injection process. However, the future looks promising. New developments in, quote, enhanced geothermal systems, which involve creating artificial reservoirs in hot, dry rock, could greatly expand its potential, allowing us to harness this powerful, clean energy source in many more places around the globe. This technology could play a crucial role in our transition to a sustainable energy future.
And pencils down. You've survived another IELTS listening marathon. If your brain feels like it just ran a mental obstacle course, congratulations. That means you're doing it right. Want to torture yourself with more tests? We mean enhance your skills? Head to Spinta.org, that's Spinta.org, where we've got reading, writing, speaking practice, and vocabulary games that are actually fun. Yes, fun and IELTS in the same sentence. We're rebels like that. Thanks for listening with Spinta. Now go treat yourself to something nice. You've earned it. Spinta. Push forward. Achieve more.